Right everybody, we're at a rather beautiful place today. It's called Clayton on Frickley. Can't even really pronounce it. But we're here at a graveyard and I'm going to say it's a deserted church. No doubt someone will say in the comments it's not, but it is because you can't get to it. And I actually came yesterday to look at this graveyard for a specific reason, which we'll get into in the video. And I couldn't, like Mother's parked over there in her car. There's no parking and the gate's locked, so you can't bring your car up. I would have brought my car up, but you can't. Saying that, it is Sunday and there is a sign on the door that says that services take place in it. I think it's called All Saints the church. It's just over there. So hopefully we don't have to climb over any walls, but one way or the other, I'm going around this graveyard. Right everybody. Oh wow. Oh, look at it everyone. Wow. Oh dear, it might be longer than 10 minutes, Si. Mother's waiting. Yeah, Mother will be alright. Oh, everybody, look at it. The most beautiful graveyard we've ever visited to date. I'm actually glad I didn't get in here on my own yesterday, because it's a bit remote. You could get dragged off into them fields if there were a fella about. Oh, dodgy fella. There's loads of graves. Now, there's a specific grave that we're looking for, and this fella was a murder victim. He was bludgeoned to death. Well, he was smashed in the face with a stick or a cosh. This is the church. We'll have a look through the windows of the church as well. What do you think of this place, everybody? Remember those whose cremated remains are laid to rest in this place. Wow, everybody. So the story is, let's have a look at this. John Foster, late of Mar, who died October 10th, 1857 at 77 years. I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth, and through after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God. Also of Anne, wife of the above, she died January 17th, 1867. Worms destroy thy body. Oh, it's a cold one, everybody. So yeah, the story, Thomas Delfridge, I think he's called. Delage. I'll tell you the story when we find his bloody grave. Let's just concentrate on these other people. So this is an affectionate remembrance of Charlotte, wife of Thomas Fox. She died May the 6th, 1878. She was 80. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. Is Charlotte in by herself? Oh no, Thomas is in here. Here we go. Thomas Fox, who was for many years the faithful and much valued servant of the late Reverend Godfrey Wright of Bilham House, and afterwards to William Aldman, Esquire of Frickley Hall, born October 14th, 1812, died June 16th, 1887. Beautiful, everybody, look at it. Oh, I'm so excited. Yes, so let me tell you the story. So basically, we're walking, he'd been out, this fella. He were out with these two sets of fellas. So there was him and two blokes, and then there was another two blokes. And the two blokes that he were with got into a row with the other two blokes. And there were a bit of a row, a bit of a fight, and all the rest of it. Let's have a look at this. Abraham Moore of Clayton. Abraham Moore of Clayton, who died April 19th, 1870, was 46. Farewell, dear wife, my life is past, so long to you as my life did last, but don't for me no sorrow mate, but love my children for my sake. Yeah, so anyway, there was a bit of a fight between these two sets of fellas, and they're all getting boozed up in this pub. And then basically, everyone were walking home. This was in 1844. Everyone were walking home later on in the night. This is Rebecca, daughter of William and Susan Smith of Clayton. She departed this life October 2nd, 1851. She was 18. Also Susanna, the beloved wife of the above named William. She died 1857, aged 55 years. 6 years after her daughter. Was it? 6 years, yeah. So this is Sarah, wife of Thomas Wilson, who died February 2nd, 1857. She was 73 years old. And the above names Thomas Wilson, he died 1865 at 82 years. There's a fella down there. Oh, there's a beautiful big grave there, everybody, with a big wrought iron gate around it. Hey, look at this. Robert White of Wesbrodale, who departed this life June the 11th, 1862. That's where... So yeah, on this grave, when we find it, there is mention of this murder. And there was a stone erected at the crossroads where he was murdered. And it said he was terribly bludgeoned to death. And they moved the stone here to the church, but the vicar kicked off and said, you can't just stick a stone there with an engraving in it. It's got to be a proper gravestone. So that's why they ended up changing it. So now it's engraved on the gravestone. Blocked up that door down there. Let's have a look in this church. Usually you can find these churches open. You know, the ones, the churches in like rural areas like this, sometimes they're open. You can just go in. I mean, this might be open. If it is, we'll go in and have a look round. Affectionate remembrance of William Adam. He died July 27th, 1890. These must have been living in the big house or something, you know,
There's one around there, and he was buried before the United States was...
1776 is when it was founded, weren't it?
This was, yeah, and he died in 1771.
Can you smell that wild garlic?
Is that what it is?
Well, I can smell garlic.
Could be.
No, it's not that. Is it that? Can you smell garlic? I can smell garlic. Simon's just ate poison.
Yeah. So this geezer,
here he is, Thomas Depledge. Here he is, everybody.
Cruelly murdered of the highway near Darfield, October.
So he was murdered at the crossroads in but this is the grave that we've come to see. Age 21, he was cruelly murdered on the highway, departed October. Near Darfield, October 11th, 1841. So yeah, in a nutshell, everybody, he'd been out boozing with these two sets of fellas. The two sets of fellas had an argument. Later on in the night, everyone had had a drink. They were walking home, and Thomas was they thought Thomas was one of the blokes that they'd been fighting, and one of them had a big massive stick and absolutely battered him across the face, and it killed him instantly, outright. He died, and he was found at the side of a road by a fella in a horse and cart. And at one point they thought that maybe he'd been run over, but he hadn't. He'd been smashed in the face, and they got a couple of fellas for it, and I'm sure they hung for it. But as I said, there was a big stone here. Everyone, I'm just editing this video up, don't mind the glasses. Basically, what I've decided, Thomas I'm going to do a full-on video on Thomas. So we've got his grave. It sort of played a part in this video, if you know what I mean. But it's a bigger story. In as much as I've got an article here that details everything that happened. Now, you can go online and read it. If you want to Google his name, go for it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the story. We're going to follow in his steps, the same way that we did with Sarah a while ago, who was murdered in the early 1800s in Failsworth. We're going to go and find out where Thomas went, where they went boozing. Some of these pubs are still up, and we'll do what we need to do. So I'll probably do that video over bank holiday weekend, because there's quite a few places here that we're going to have to go to, but I think it'll make a brilliant video, and there'll be a good opportunity to see like Barnsley before and after, because I'll see if I can get some like before pictures as well. So it'll be a bit of an undertaking, but I think it's definitely one worth doing, and we've got all of the details here, so we can make a really interesting video. So if you want to see it, don't ruin it by going reading it. Wait until I do the video. Okay, let's get back to it. And it was a boulder which used to sit at the crossroads at Darfield as a reminder of what happened to Thomas. And then when they brought it here, the vicar of this church said, absolutely nowhere, it's got to be a gravestone, and here you go. So we'll find out where Thomas lived. But it was cruel. But it was mistaken identity. That's the word I was looking for. Let's have a look at this grave here. Can you smell that garlic?
What's the point of the alarm here? There's nobody living here.
Well, maybe people are robbing, I don't know. It's not open anywhere. I was just saying we could go in if it were open. Maybe the door is open. We'll try it. If you don't live in England, so, as I was saying, some of the graveyards, some of the churches, excuse me, you can go in. Right, anyway, this is Benjamin Appleyard, son of whoever's above. He died at 41, aged 4. Age 4? Can you make that out, everybody? Oh, age 41 years. Also Mary, wife of the above, Isaac Appleyard. So it's Isaac the father. She died April 14th, 1869. She was 82. You know, they said people didn't live till long ages the years ago. They bloody well did. It was just the kids that struggled, weren't it, to get through infancy. There was a lot of mortality. Let's have a look. George North of Clayton. There's a lot of Coxes in this graveyard as well, everybody. George died April 26, 1870, and he's in there with his wife, Hannah. Yeah, it's locked. They must have had some thefts then. Terrible, that, really.
That must be one of the...
Ah, look at that beauty. You know, there's all nettles in this grass, isn't there? It's just got my legs. Very old. Here lieth the body of William Laycock, who departed this life February the 13th, 1771. 5 years before America were founded, basically. The United States, anyway.
Yeah.
55 years. Really would have liked to have gone in this church, everybody. So how beautiful it is. How would you reckon that church is size? 1700s, 1600s?
Got to be, hasn't it? If that's 1771, it must have been.
Yeah, it's the original chapel, isn't it? It's not been rebuilt. Look at that. Look at that tower. Well, everybody, what do you think of this beautiful, beautiful place? I don't think... Look at these molehills. I don't think there's any modern burials in this place. There are some more graves down the bottom end. I think we should just have a quick gander. Some beauties down here, isn't there, Si? What do you think of this place, everybody? I think there's some more modern graves down here. We're coming into spring now. Hence why we're doing more graveyards. It just hasn't been the weather for it over winter. It's been shocking. Someone's tied a yellow ribbon there, look. Yeah, so this is the newer graves. So they are still interring people. I'm not going to film these graves because they are very fresh, but there's some dated here, 2022, 2012. And there was a fella here a minute ago. Sorry everyone, I've been filming the floor again. I do apologise if I have. I suppose we'll find out in the edit. You see, the thing is, I can't see through this bleeding camera sometimes. It's that small. Let's see what's down here. There's no borders, but then there is. This is the border. And this is why I really enjoy living in Barnsley, because this is Barnsley, you know. It's just absolutely stunning. And I would encourage anybody who lives somewhere where they're not happy, move, go somewhere else. Life's short. This is a beautiful grave. Let's look at this one as last. Emma Cooper, widow of the late Thomas Cooper, who entered into rest July 16th, 1908. Where the frig's Thomas? Why is Thomas not on there?